I want to give few thoughts concerning the leadership of Kenya, and I want to zero this conversation to the president and the deputy president. As we look country from the outlook, one may say perhaps they are in good relationship and all is well with them. But again, if you look at them critically, you will find a lot of issues or potential issues that will erupt soon or later. But I have one particular hypothesis that I would want to bring to your attention. And probably you may find the reason to buy into this hypothesis concerning the two leaders. And the hypothesis is there will be two parallel, or there will be parallel centers of power in Kenya in regard to the president and his deputy. Because ideally, the deputy is supposed to be helping the president. But in this case, there will be two centers of power. And exactly this, actually, I would say the relationship between the former president, Uhuru, by then, and Mr. Ruto, who was the vice president, the deputy president by then, is actually the typology of what exactly is going to happen very soon, or probably it's already happening. They began well, and it appears they're working together, and everybody has probably no problem with the other, which again, that is only for PR. Not there are serious issues from behind. The two will begin to pull from different direction, and there will be two centers of power and influence. One by the president, another one by the deputy. Why will this happen? Number one is even the issue of ideology. Their ideology, as much as they meet at some point, but when you look at them critically, they are not homogeneous. They are not the same, and everyone seems to be having different ideology in terms of leadership and in terms of politics. And so this alone is going to put them asunder. And the other thing that is going to put them asunder is because of their interests. You see, one, the deputy president wants to be the kingpin of the Mount Kenya region, and this is not auguring well with the leadership of the president, because he knows he has a second term that he wants to secure. And so if this one becomes influential in this region, it may work at his detriment. He may end up losing really what he wants. So that alone, and that's where we have vote, and I don't. That is actually the major issue. He wants to be the kingpin, but again, the president is like, okay, these people. They have voted for me, and I want to maintain this voting block. And how do I maintain this voting block? I have to still be the person who is carrying the shots where Mount Kenya politics is concerned. So that is going to really divide them sharply, and at some point they're going to really walk very independent kind of move. And the other thing also that we can look at in terms of trying to support the kind of hypothesis I'm thinking about is that when you critically look at the two individuals, they are trying to, they are people that are supporting them from behind. So they are trying to, especially like the deputy, is trying to build his base, trying to build his supporters in terms of the leaders who can support him. And this is becoming wary because the president will not want to see such a scenario. He will want to see where everybody is paying allegiance to him. And you know, if the president realizes that now the people who are paying allegiance to him are no longer paying allegiance to him, that alone can create a lot of friction and will not really, it will not augur well with them. So I think they may really tolerate one another because they would want to secure, the president would want to secure a second term, and he would want to appear like he is not again going against the same bloc that really voted for him. But very soon this is going to really be different, and at the end of the day they're going to really differ sharply. And of course, the other thing that we can clearly see, where diplomacy and especially where the PR and international outlook is concerned, it appears, of course, first and foremost, both of them are struggling in that area. And secondly, the deputy, because of his utterances and his leadership style, it has made it very difficult. And even both of them in terms of their historical background, and especially the deputy in terms of his historical background, it is not that is full of credibility and integrity. And so that really at times is somehow marring the kind, the relationship, and even that PR internationally in a bad taste. And so this is something that I'm sure the president would want really to deal with it and put behind him, but it's very difficult because even the deputy himself, he is smart. He knows how to make his moves, and he's not a pushover. And because he's not a pushover, anytime the president will attempt, I'm telling you, it's going to be fireworks. It will be very difficult, and they will really fight. They will really fight. Everybody will give the other person a run for the money, and the personalities are just very interesting. And so it is a matter of time. I think the two are going to really differ publicly, though, as I've mentioned already, they are not in synchrony. But because the country has to move and it has to appear like they're doing leadership, then it's going to be very different. Right now, of course, it appears like in terms of appointments, in terms of resource mobilization, it appears they're in agreement, but very soon, because it is becoming monotonous in terms of other Kenyans not really being, getting their share. There is no equity in terms of sharing the resources. So at the end of the day, the others may feel uncomfortable, and because of that, probably for the sake of the face value, maybe the president may think, I want to include others in other coming opportunities, but probably the deputy may be not for it, because he wants the people from his region to get it so that he can continue getting allegiance and people that can work with him. But once that will not happen, then I'm telling you, there will be fire on the mountain. So this leadership is just a matter of time. There are already cracks. Some of them are visible and some of the cracks are not visible. But as time goes by, they are going to be very visible, and it shall not be that very good. And of course, we hope it becomes better, and they provide good leadership. But again, out of analysis, these are some of the things that we will clearly see in their leadership. But we wish them the best. But it appears they still have a long way to go.